In this video, I will take you through the best settings for your TCL Smart TV. Now over here I have the TCL Android TV, but it doesn't really matter the type or size of TCL Smart TV you have. I believe if you have the TCL Google TV, TCL Roku TV, or even the TCL Android TV, these settings are going to help you get the most out of any TCL Smart TV you have. So basically, I'll be taking you through everything on the TV and showing you the best options to select for your TCL Smart TV. Now, first thing you want to do is to go ahead and open up the settings of your TCL Smart TV. You can literally see the settings button over here on my TCL Smart TV remote control. And if you're using the TCL Smart TV remote just like this one over here, you should find the settings button over here on your remote control. In some, you might actually find it at the top over here. But whichever way, you just want to go ahead and press on the settings button. Now we are going to go through each and every one of these settings option, and first we are going to open up the picture settings over here, and then from the picture preset over here you want to make sure that picture preset is actually set to Smart HDR. HDR actually stands for high dynamic range, and it helps you get the best picture settings on your TCL Smart TV. However, if you do not like this option, you can also go ahead and choose the standard option, or even just choose the sport or movie option if you're watching sport or you're watching movies on the TCL Smart TV. What all of this option does is to basically optimize the TCL Smart TV for a specific purpose. If you're playing games, then you want to make sure that it is set to game mode over here. But personally, I will highly recommend you go with the Smart HDR option over here. Now, once this is done, you want to make sure that brightness is set to 75, and then you want to make sure that contrast is actually set to 60, and then you want to go over to the advanced settings over here. Now come over to color option over here, and then you want to make sure that color saturation is set to 60. As you can see, it is already set to 60, and then you also want to make sure that tint is set to 50, just as you can see over here. And then finally, under the warm, you want to reduce it to -2. So go ahead and make sure that warm is actually set to -2. You also want to make sure that dynamic color at the top over here is actually turned off. Once you're done, you want to come out of this option, come over to the brightness settings over here. Contrast is set to 100, and even the black level is set to 50. Now every other thing here, you can go ahead and leave them as they are, and then you want to come out of this option again. Now come over to the clarity option over here, and then you just want to make sure that digital noise reduction at the top over here is set to high, just like so. And then you just want to also make sure that noise reduction is also set to high as well. Now this will enable you get the best image quality while watching videos on your TCL Smart TV. Now come over to the screen settings over here, and then for screen option, you just want to make sure that this is set to auto format, and then make sure that screen mode is actually set to 16:9. But you can go ahead and adjust it to whatever you want depending on the content you're watching on your TCL Smart TV. It is basically the screen size of your TCL Smart TV. You can come out of these settings, and then under apply picture mode, you can go ahead and set to apply to all or apply to the current source. So if you set it to apply to all, it automatically apply these picture settings to all of the HDMI input sources on your TCL Smart TV. But if you want it to just apply it to only this particular input source, then make sure that it is set to current input source over there. And finally, you want to come out of the picture settings, come over to sound settings, and for sound settings, you also want to make sure that everything is just left as they are over here on my TCL Smart TV. So make sure that it is actually just set as this, and then you want to come over to advanced settings. Also make sure that if your TV is actually on a stand, like on the wall stand, then you want to make sure that this is actually set to wall mount. Alternatively, you want to make sure that it is set to stand. Like as you can see, mine is standing, so I'll go ahead and set it to stand. Also, you want to make sure that auto volume control is turned off, or else you won't be able to control the volume of your TCL Smart TV because it will automatically change by itself. Now coming out of the advanced settings and out of the sound settings, if you come over to the system settings, there are a couple of things you can do over here. For instance, under the CEC option, you want to make sure that CEC is turned on if you want to be able to control other HDMI devices that are connected to your TCL Smart TV using your TCL remote control. So by turning on your TCL Smart TV, you can automatically turn on other HDMI devices that are connected to the TCL Smart TV as well. You want to also make sure that if you're watching sports, then sports mode is turned on, or if you're playing games on the TV, then game mode is turned on. Now these options automatically optimize the overall settings of the TV to give you the best experience depending on the option you choose. That is whether you're gaming or you're watching sports on the TV. Now finally, coming over to the more settings option over here, basically you have other settings menu on your TCL Smart TV over here. For instance, you can go ahead and sign into your TCL account. You can also come over to the network and internet settings to basically connect your TCL Smart TV to a Wi-Fi network. As you can see, now under the apps settings, you basically find all of the apps that are in your TCL Smart TV, both the system apps as well. So if you click on all and even click on show system apps, you should be able to find all of the apps on the TCL Smart TV. If you go over to the device preferences option over here, there are also a couple of things you can do here. For instance, you can go ahead and rename your input sources on your TCL Smart TV from here. You can also come over here to change the name of your TCL Smart TV from the living room TV to anything you want. There is the software update option that allows you to update your TCL Smart TV to newer versions. Now if you come over to the language option, you can also go ahead and change the language of your TCL Smart TV. And also under the date and time settings, you also want to make sure that this is always set to auto synchronization or automatic. It fixes the date and time of your TCL Smart TV to always work with the date and time of your Wi-Fi network, and this is always good to avoid the Wi-Fi limited connection issue on your TCL Smart TV. These are basically the most important settings you should know and adjust on your TCL Smart TV to get the best Smart TV experience on your TCL Smart TV. If you find this video useful, please make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more interesting tech tips like this one.